The Oriental Star glided deeper into the Yangtze, the sky above a heavy, oppressive gray. The river had widened, but our world had shrunk. A thick, rolling fog moved in from the east, swallowing the distant shores and turning the view into a blurry, ominous canvas. A calm voice, almost apologetic, crackled over the intercom. It was the captain. "Ladies and gentlemen, due to approaching typhoon conditions, we will maintain a reduced speed and remain in the main channel until further notice. All passengers are advised to enjoy our indoor facilities inside the observation lounge." The floor-to-ceiling windows framed the misty river like a watercolor painting gone terribly wrong. Guests huddled in small groups, their faces illuminated by the flickering screens of their phones, desperately searching for a signal that came and went like a ghost. I found a quiet corner table, a cup of black coffee my only companion, my notebook open but untouched. Across the room, I watched Su Manning and Lu Chen. Manning was live streaming again, her voice a forced, manufactured brightness. "Day 2 on the cruise, everyone. The fog is so romantic, right? It's just like a movie set. We're all just chilling, having a nice family breakfast." Her camera panned for a brief moment to Lu Chen, who raised a mimosa in a picture-perfect toast. His smile was flawless, a little too flawless, but someone was missing. Ye Wei hadn't shown up for breakfast. A soft voice pulled me from my thoughts. "Mind if I join you, Miss Lin?" It was Mr. Su Weihao. He settled into the chair opposite me without waiting for an answer, his elegant cane resting against the table like a silent, knowing witness. "She's avoiding the cameras today," he said, giving a slight nod toward Manning's table. "Smart. Or perhaps she's scared." I closed my notebook. Fear is a perfectly rational response when someone threatens you in front of thousands of people. So you heard the live stream last night? "I think most of the ship did," I replied. Ye Wei's midnight broadcast had been short, but it was vicious. You couldn't see her face, just a black screen, with her voice reading old, intimate messages between her and Lu Chen. Messages from a time before Su Manning was even in the picture. The broadcast ended with a single, chilling line. "Some weddings are built on lies. This one will end in truth." Of course, Manning had tried to laugh it off on her own stream this morning. "It's all drama for views, you know how it is," but her laugh had a brittle, cracking edge to it. I leaned forward slightly. "Tell me about the inheritance, Mr. Su. The real version, not the one you gave the press." The old man's eyes narrowed, a flicker of approval in them. "Direct. I like that. My late son left the majority shares of the company in a trust for Manning. The trust matures when she turns 26, which is just 3 months from now. Until then, I control the board. After her birthday, it's all hers. Unless, of course, something happens to her first." "Something like what?" "An accident. A career-ending scandal. Or," he paused, his gaze sharp, "a clever murder disguised as neither." I took a sip of my coffee, the bitter liquid doing little to calm my nerves. "And Lu Chen knows about this timeline?" "Everyone on this ship knows," he said, his voice dropping. "That's why they're all here. They call it a family reunion. I call it a gathering of suspects in waiting." Just then, a sudden burst of laughter from the far side of the lounge caught our attention. It was Manning's cousin, a sharp-featured young woman named Sujia. She was showing something on her phone to the family's private doctor, a handsome man in his 40s who'd been introduced simply as Dr. Han, a family friend. They both glanced quickly toward Manning, then looked away, their shared amusement evaporating. I made a mental note. Was it simple jealousy? Or was it something more sinister, like blackmail? Or maybe just good old-fashioned gossip? The automatic doors to the deck slid open, and Ye Wei stepped into the lounge. She looked surprisingly composed in a simple black sweater, her hair tied back neatly, not a trace of makeup on her face. And most notably, no phone in sight. She walked straight to the bar and ordered a sparkling water. Then, she turned, and her eyes locked with Su Manning's across the crowded room. For a long, tense moment, nobody spoke. The string quartet in the corner played on, completely oblivious to the drama unfolding. Then, Ye Wei raised her glass in a slow, deliberate mock toast. To happy endings, she said, her voice clear and carrying across the lounge. I saw Su Manning's hand tremble where it rested on her phone. Lu Chen immediately placed his own hand over hers, a gesture that was meant to be steadying, protective. A thin, cold smile touched Ye Wei's lips. She turned and walked out onto the open deck, her silhouette quickly swallowed by the thick, swirling fog. I stood up. "Excuse me, Mr. Su," and I followed her. The wind was much colder out on the deck. Ye Wei was leaning against the railing, staring out into the gray, formless void. "You're not afraid of heights," I observed, stopping a few paces behind her. She didn't turn around. "I'm not afraid of much anymore, except losing." A bitter laugh escaped her. "I already lost. This is just." Collecting the interest, I stepped closer to the railing. Threatening someone on a live broadcast isn't collecting interest. It's escalating the situation. Ye Wei finally turned to look at me. Her eyes were red-rimmed but completely dry. "You're the shrink, right? The one my ex-future father-in-law hired to babysit the family crazy? I'm here to assess the mental fitness of those involved in the inheritance decisions, then assess this," she snapped. "I loved him first. She took him from me. Now she gets everything, the money, the fame, and him. And what do I get? A stream of hate comments and a failing social media account. Revenge won't bring him back to you. I don't want him back," Ye Wei said, her voice dropping to a quiet intensity. "I want her to know what it feels like to lose everything you care about in a single night." A heavy silence stretched between us, punctuated only by the low, constant hum of the ship's engines. Then, as if it were an afterthought, she added, "Tell her to check her cabin safe tonight, before it's too late," and with that, she walked away, melting back into the fog. I stood at the railing for a moment longer, the cold seeping into my bones. The ship's horn sounded a single, long, mournful blast that echoed across the water. Back inside, the lounge was already buzzing. Manning had retreated to her suite, with Lu Chen trailing protectively behind her. Guests were whispering, their phones glowing with screenshots of Ye Wei's post from the night before. The fog grew thicker, the river ahead seeming to narrow, and somewhere on the deck above us, a single champagne flute fell to the ground and shattered, a sharp, violent sound, completely unheard and unnoticed by anyone. The second night was coming.